Hi there, Tarot people. So we have our card of the day, which is the Five of Wands reversed. So let's take a look at this card. So the Five of Wands is a bunch of people that all have a wand. There's five of them with a different clothes on. They all seem to be waving their wand around as if it's super important. This is a card where the wand represents the wand represents our intuition, our guidance, but it also represents our creativity, it represents our sexuality, it represents this fiery passion that we have for life and how we can transform things and change things. There's a lot of people gathering together in order to change something, but there might be a little bit of conflict in this energy because everybody's got their own way of their own belief, and here is the typical fanaticism that can jump in when our way is the right way and the only way, and then we're bound to come into conflict with some other people. This is a little bit the same energetic inside of ourselves. When we've got a fanatical view, we'll be fighting ourselves too, because we might have an intuitive idea that'll come in and we won't hear it because that goes against our fanatical idealism. And there's a little bit of ego attachment to the fire nature here and to this creativity, and our ego just wants to be more important than somebody else. And so there's a look, my idea is the best, come on everyone, my idea is so much important than somebody else's, and the ego jumps upon our creativity and owns it and wants to become the most important in this story. And that's what a little bit about what this card represents. Now, when it's upside down, these energies are on some level repressed, and we don't have a great relationship with this energy. So there's a little bit of aggression and ego and whatever. And so when we don't have a great relationship with this level of our ego, then there are different ways it's going to come out. Sometimes the aggression is going to be exaggerated, and it'll be exaggerated to one extreme where we'll have bursts of anger and we'll explode, and the fighting might be aggressive and it might be violent. On another level, you could repress that so much that you don't have a great relationship with your aggression, and the fire turns inwards. It becomes inflammation and an infection in your body, and you have a negative relationship with yourself, and you might end up struggling and fighting with yourself. You'll be having conversations with your inner critic, and you'll be fighting your own creative output, and you'll be putting yourself down. You'll be in conflict in some way or another with your own way of self-expression. So, and this happens a lot when we get an intuitive idea, or we'll get an intuition to do something, and then we'll do that something and it'll work out fantastic. And so we carry on doing that something until somewhere down the line it stops being fantastic, and yet it's become a conditioning or a habit. And so this is where we're in conflict with those habitual stories that we have brought into our lives, and our intuition. When we're in confusion about, hey, well, what is my intuition and what is just my conditioned mind? Well, one can become the other over time, through habit and through conditioning. And we need to check in on a daily basis and be honest with ourselves and check in with our feelings and how things are, in order to really have this more intimate connection with our intuitive body. So these are two ways. So that when we suppress this creative, sort of passionate energy, we can become a little bit dull and flat, and we're more open to being manipulated or moved around because our boundaries are not great. We might find ourselves silently suffering in a certain situation. Now, this is something that's quite common, and I would say that when this card is upside down, one of the other ways of looking at it is that it's time this energy has come to an end. It's time for us to put our boundaries, to walk away from the fight if there's a fight and if there's a lot of conflict taking place. It's a time to recognize, really own up and recognize to the inner struggle that we might be co-creating for ourselves inside of our bodies or inside of life in general, and time to readdress our own personal situation, to move on and to grow and to change And this is, it's an instigator of change. There's a lot of interesting energy here. Because there are so many characters in this story, it's about, there's definitely a little bit about relationships, and the world on the outside is always going to mirror us here. So it's important to look at the relationships you have and the conflict you have in relationships. I remember this card. I remember having a conflict with someone for many years until I saw that the conflict that I was having with them was actually like an inner conflict that I wasn't really owning up to properly. And the moment I realized this, and the moment I saw how much I judged myself for, in the same way that I judged this person on the outside that I was having a conflict with, the moment I realized it's all about me and it wasn't about them, I stopped really needing to have a conflicting relationship with them. And I started to work on this inner conflict instead. And the moment my mind shifted to see, oh my God, the only reason I'm having an issue with this guy is because I've got an issue with this inside of me. And so that could be another reason that this card is on its way, is upside down, is when you actually start to become clear and you actually start to shift this ego attachment to fighting on the outside world, and actually become aware on the inside about what is actually taking place and what is really going on energetically inside of yourself. This is the reading for the Five of Wands reversed. I hope you've enjoyed it in some way, and I hope you have a fantastic and lovely day. And I hope this reading has served you in some way. If it has, please click a like and make a comment. Just tell me what you think. I'm always interested to know.